Good afternoon or good evening to all of you. And with us this afternoon is Sister Hatton Sutton. She's a dental hygienist. Next to her is Sister Vernice Blackett, who is a nutritionist. And I am Junie Powell, our nurse manager and the president of the Nevis SDA Health Association.
Thank you, Nurse Junie. Our focus will be on nutrition, which could be undernutrition or overnutrition, both of which could result in illnesses and diseases. A few of which will be mentioned in a bit. We have all been fearfully and wonderfully made by our Creator. In Jeremiah 29:11, God is saying, "For I know the thoughts I think towards you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." Being healthy helps us to be peaceful, and our Heavenly Father expects us to take good care of our bodies until He comes. Nutrition is a science that interprets the nutrients and other substances in food in relation to maintenance, growth, reproduction, health, and diseases of an organism. It includes ingestion, absorption, assimilation, biosynthesis, catabolism, and excretion. A writer once wrote, "Food is the staff of life." Another one wrote, "You are what you eat." If the question is asked, would you like to look well and feel well all your life? What would you answer? What would your answer be? I am quite certain that the answer would be a resounding yes, or of course. This would take very much effort. The success in reaching that goal depends on what you eat, how often you eat, and how much you eat. The quality and quantity of the food we consume is very important to our health and nutritional well-being. The food we eat provides our bodies with nutrients for our growth and development, work and play, and the maintenance of good health. No single food item provides all the nutrients our bodies need. We must consume a variety of foods to adequately meet our nutritional requirements. Food nutrients are substances or compounds found in foods that are essential to life and health. We have carbohydrates, protein, fat, minerals, vitamins. Of course, we have the different vitamins A, B, C, D, E, K. We have water. We have dietary fiber. And recently, they added phytochemicals. We have overnutrition and undernutrition. And of course, we have nutritional imbalances. We would observe persons from day to day, the size of the body, whether it's small or medium or large. I'm going to talk a little about the large bodies. Obesity. Obesity is a condition which usually results from a gross excess of food, energy, calories intake in relation to its expenditure or use. When, for example, we regularly consume large quantities of energy-rich or energy-dense foods, such as sugar-based products, cooking fats and oils, gravies, sauces, fried foods, ice cream, and alcoholic beverages, and perform jobs requiring very little physical activity or do not engage in any exercise program, we tend to increase our body stores of fat and eventually become obese. A person is said to be obese if his weight is 20% in excess of normal for his height, body frame, and age. Obese persons often suffer from ill health and usually have shorter than normal lifespan. They are at increased risk of developing diabetes, developing hypertension, developing heart disease leading to heart attacks, suffering from strokes, developing diseases of the joints, especially hips and knees. Data on recommended weights for men and women of various heights according to body frame are always provided. Dietary management and exercise. Eat smaller and fewer portions of food. Consume less high-energy foods such as fried foods, rich pastries, chocolates, fatty meats, gravies, syrups, sweet beverages. Eat small portions of low-fat foods, example, lean meat, chicken, fish, peas and beans, vegetables, and staples. Remove the skin from the chicken before cooking. Eat a wide variety of fresh fruits and vegetables. Boil, bake, roast, or steam foods instead of frying. Use skimmed milk or low-fat cheese. Use very little oil in cooking or no oil at all. Avoid consumption of alcoholic drinks. Take exercise such as walking fast, gardening, and cycling regularly. Disease is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that result from a violation of the laws of health. In case of sickness, the cause should be ascertained. Unhealthful conditions should be changed, wrong habits corrected. Then, nature is to be assisted in her effort to expel impurities and to reestablish right conditions in the system. According to the scripture in Jeremiah 29:11, God is saying, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end."
Okay, you have just heard from Sister Blackett about nutrition, the description or the definition, and we looked at obesity. Another common disease that is plaguing us is hypertension as well as diabetes, and we are going to just look at these two diseases briefly. When you hear the word hypertension, just the word says it's danger. Hyper means high and tension means too much pressure. So hypertension is a condition in which the pressure in the blood vessels, the vessels that takes blood to the different organs, the blood in these vessels is too high than it should be. And here are some key factors. Hypertension, or you may have heard elevated blood pressure or high blood pressure, is a serious medical condition that significantly increases the risk of heart, brain, kidney, and other diseases. An estimated of 1.13 million or billion people worldwide have hypertension. In recent as 2015, 1 in 4 men and 1 in 5 women were diagnosed with hypertension. Fewer than 1 in 5 people with hypertension have the problem under control. Hypertension is a major cause of premature death worldwide. On the global targets of non-communicable diseases, of which hypertension is one of them, is to reduce the prevalence of hypertension by 25% by the time we reach 2025, if God is still on his throne. Hypertension, if not addressed in a timely fashion, can have a significant economic and social impact on us. Combined and coordinated efforts at local, national, regional, and global levels are needed to increase awareness of the degrees, on dangers of high blood pressure and address the risk factors that are associated with those. Usually symptomless, unrecognized, and untreated, hypertension can cause serious health problems such as heart failure, stroke, and kidney disease. Although the prevalence of hypertension usually rises with age, the disease is preventable and treatable. The factors which contribute to hypertension are like those of the other major chronic, non-communicable diseases, such as obesity, which we spoke about, and diabetes. These factors include unhealthy diet, high salt intake, obesity, inadequate physical activity, and the use of alcohol. It is important to note that the higher your blood pressure, the more work your heart does. Check your blood pressure numbers regularly to be assured of good health. If you have been diagnosed with hypertension, it's important to stay on the treatment prescribed by your doctor or health provider, especially if you have other risk factors like high cholesterol, or you are a smoker, or even you are a diabetic. We have to know our numbers. Know your numbers if you are hypertensive. Some of the common symptoms of hypertension, it is also known as the silent killer. Most people with hypertension are unaware of the problem because it may have no warning sign or symptoms. For this reason, it is essential that blood pressure be monitored regularly. When symptoms do occur, they can include early morning headaches, nosebleeds, irregular heart rhythm, vision changes, and buzzing in the ears. So if you are hypertensive, or if you are diagnosed with high blood pressure, I believe that you had one of the signs or one of the symptoms. Severe, if you have it in a severe form, it can cause fatigue, nausea, vomiting, confusion, anxiety, chest pain, and muscle tremors. There are also complications related to hypertension. Among other complications, hypertension can cause serious damage to the heart. And we know that when our heart is impaired, we are really sick. This is the organ that pumps the blood to all organs of the body. And if it's not working properly, we know that we are sick. Excessive pressure can harden arteries, decreasing the flow of blood and oxygen to the heart. The elevated pressure and reduced blood flow, they can cause chest pain, which we also called angina. Heart attack, which occurs with the blood, when the blood supply to the heart is blocked and heart muscle cells die from lack of oxygen. The longer the blood flow is blocked, the greater the damage to the heart. If the heart muscle is lacking oxygen and blood, we have severe damage to the heart muscles, and then we have a dead heart. If you have a dead heart, you have a dead individual. Heart failure, which occurs when the heart cannot pump enough blood and oxygen to other vital organs. We have irregular heartbeats, which can lead to sudden death. Hypertension can also burst or block arteries that supply blood and oxygen to the brain, causing stroke. So when you have a ruptured blood vessel, definitely that individual will suffer a stroke. There are preventative measures. We have to reduce our salt intake. It should be less than 5 grams per day. Eat more fruits and vegetables, and we have that in abundance in the Caribbean. Be more physically active on a regular basis. Do a lot of exercise, or as you can, as your body tolerates. If you are a smoker, try to prevent yourself from smoking or break the habit. If you consume alcohol, eradicate this from your diet. Limit the intake of food that is high in saturated fat. Too much of the fried foods, baked, roast, boiled, is better than fry. Eliminate or reduce trans fat. Use little or no oils at all. How do we manage high blood pressure? Reducing and managing mental stress. Sometimes stress do carry up our blood pressure. Regular checking our blood pressure, nothing wrong. If you don't feel comfortable going to the hospital, at your church, there will be a health booth or a health department. They do have a blood pressure kit. You could check your blood pressure. Or many people buy their personal, which is even better. Treating high blood pressure, if you are hypertensive, make sure it is treated. Don't be non-compliant and say, oh, God going to take care of me. God do take care of you, but he do provide ways that you could take care of yourself. And managing other medical conditions. If there are other medical conditions that you do have, do manage them and reduce the risk of getting a stroke or getting a heart attack. We are now looking at diabetes, another non-communicable disease. What is diabetes? Most of us would be accustomed to the word diabetes, but what does it really mean? Diabetes is a chronic disease that occurs either when the pancreas, that's an organ in our body, does not produce enough insulin, which is a hormone, or when the body cannot effectively use the insulin it produces. Insulin is a hormone that regulates the blood pressure, the blood sugar, sorry. There are some key factors that occur in diabetes. The number of people with diabetes has risen from 108 million from 1980 to 422 million as late as 2014. The global prevalence of diabetes among adults over 18 years of age has risen from 4.7% to 8.5%. Diabetes prevalence has been rising more rapidly in middle and low-income countries. Diabetes is a major cause of death, kidney failure, heart attack, smoke, and lower limb amputation. In 2012, an estimated 1.5 million deaths were directly caused by diabetes, and another 2.2 million deaths were attributed to high blood glucose. Almost half of all the deaths attributable to high blood glucose occur before the age of 70. Healthy diets, regular physical activity, maintaining a normal body weight, and avoiding tobacco use are ways to prevent or delay the onset of type 2 diabetes. Diabetes can be treated and its consequences avoided or delayed with diet, physical activity, medication, and regular screening and treatment of complication. We have at least 4 different kinds of diabetes. We have diabetes type 1, which is previously known as insulin dependent. That person depends on insulin to control the blood sugar. We have juvenile or childhood onset. It's characterized by deficient insulin production and requires daily administration of insulin. The cause of type 1 diabetes is not known, and it is not preventable with current knowledge. Symptoms include excessive excretion of urine, that we call polyuria, thirst, which is polydyspepsia, constant hunger, weight loss, vision changes, and fatigue. These symptoms may occur suddenly. In type 2 diabetes, which is formerly called non-insulin dependent, that means you don't have to use insulin, you use oral medication, results from the body ineffective use of insulin. The body is producing insulin, but not enough to combat or to regulate the blood glucose level in the body. Type 2 diabetes comprises the majority of people with diabetes around the world. Symptoms may be similar to those of type 1 diabetes, but are often less marked. As a result, the disease may be diagnosed several years after onset, once complications have already arisen. Until recently, this type of diabetes was seen only in adults, but it is now also occurring frequently in children. Then we have gestational diabetes. This is the diabetes that occurs during pregnancy. Gestational diabetes is hyperglycemia with blood glucose level values above normal but below those diagnostic of diabetes occurring during pregnancy. In gestational diabetes, it is diagnosed through prenatal screening rather than throughout reported symptoms. That's why when individuals are pregnant, we ask them to do our blood glucose level tests. You have to fast. And if this blood glucose level is high, we'll repeat it and do a HbA1c to see how the percentage. If the percentage is about 6%, you are diagnosed with diabetes and also gestational diabetes. With gestational diabetes, it can be resolved after pregnancy, but there's a percentage that always is unfortunate that person become a diabetic. Simple lifestyle measures have been shown to be efficient in preventing or delaying the onset of type 2 diabetes. To help prevent type 2 diabetes and its complications, people should achieve and maintain healthy body weight. Be physically active, at least 30 minutes of exercise per day or 3 times a week. Moderate intensity activities of most days. Eat healthy diets. Avoid sugar and saturated fat intake. And we always encourage people to avoid the use of tobacco as well as alcohol. Early diagnosis of diabetes can be accomplished throughout relatively inexpensive testing of blood sugar. There are many health facilities which have health drives, HIV, hypertensive checks, blood sugar check. Please take advantage of those. Treatment of diabetes involves diets and physical activity, along with lowering blood glucose and the level of other known risk factors that damage blood vessels. God's plan for us is to be well above all. He wished that we prosper and be in good health. That's why he gave us the laws of health.
Psalms 34 verse 8 says, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good." Where do we find the taste buds? In the mouth, of course. The mouth is the gateway to the body. Even newborn babies know that. Did you know that teeth begin to develop during the 6th week of pregnancy? A baby is born with all 20 of his primary teeth in the mouth, just waiting for the appropriate time to come into the mouth. What an awesome God we serve. Blessed is the man who trusts in him. Psalms 34 verse 8. This evening, we are going to look at the impact of proper nutrition on oral health in children. All children are at risk for tooth decay. Tooth decay is one of the most common childhood diseases. We are going to look at the difference between nutrition and diet. I know that Sister Blackett gave us a definition a while ago, but I think I have to step down from that. Nutrition is what we need, all the right nutrients. And diet is how we get it, the food we eat to obtain nutrients. When do the teeth begin to erupt into the mouth? At about 6 months of age. Most children have a full set of primary teeth, or baby teeth as you may call them, by the age of 3. And the first permanent molar erupts into the mouth at about age 6.
Are the baby teeth important? I know you might not agree, because there are some persons who would say, oh, why are you saving them? Why are you filling them? Take them out, they're going to get new ones anyway. But they are very important. They are needed to chew, speak, and smile. And they also hold the space for the permanent teeth when they come in, which could prevent parents from having to spend lots of money on braces, even though you find a lot of children saying that they want braces when sometimes they don't need it, but they think it's a style. They also give the face its shape and form. So we are going to look at nutrition and your child's dental health. Children need to eat healthy and to help keep their teeth free from decay and other dental problems. Good nutrition involves all the food groups. What is the link between nutrition and your child's dental health? Too many carbohydrates or sugars, cakes, cookies, sweet beverages, pretzels, potato chips can cause tooth decay. How long these food remain on the teeth is the main culprit that leads to tooth decay. You should keep healthy foods in your home to offer as healthy snacks instead of all these foods that I repeated a while ago. You should choose fruits and vegetables that contain a high volume of water, such as pears, melons, celery, and cucumbers. Limit bananas and raisins, as these contain concentrated sugar. When you have eaten these foods, you have to remember to brush immediately after. Then you serve cheese with your lunch or as a snack. Example, cheddar, because it triggers the flow of saliva, which helps to wash food particles away from the teeth. Avoid sticky, chewy foods like raisins, granola bars, oatmeal, peanut butter, cookies, and syrup that stick to the teeth. I know you might be thinking that, well, what can you eat? If they eat them, have them brushed immediately after eating. Serve sugary treats with meals, not as snacks. Limit their snacks. Rinse and brush immediately. Avoid sugary foods that linger on the teeth, like lollipops, hard candies, cough drops, mints, etc. Whenever children or anybody eat those types of foods, you get what we refer to as a 20-minute acid attack. And every time you eat one, your teeth are attacked for 20 minutes. So you have to make sure that when you finish eating them, that you brush your teeth or at least rinse out. Buy foods that are sugar-free or unsweetened. Never put your baby to bed with a bottle filled with milk, formula, juice, or soda. Give plain water instead. Include good sources of calcium in your child's diet to build strong teeth. Example, milk, broccoli, and yogurt. Sugar-free gum. The chewing action increases the flow of saliva, which, as I mentioned before, would wash away the food particles. Brush and floss regularly. Brush your child's teeth after giving him medicines like cough syrups because they contain sugar. Sugar plus bacteria equal decay. Visit the dentist regularly. Supervise your children until the age of 8 with their brushing. And you should use a pea-sized amount of toothpaste. That is the little green pea that we buy in the supermarkets. Bedtime is the most critical time to brush. Make sure that the children brush their teeth and go to sleep. And please don't let them come back down and go in the refrigerator and get anything to eat. Always use a soft bristled brush and a toothpaste with a recognized seal of approval, which proves that it is safe and effective for use. Thank you very much. That is my presentation for this evening.
Okay, we have just heard about nutrition and dental health, some of the 2 diseases, non-communicable disease, hypertension and diabetes, which is plaguing us. And one of the main things that we can do is how we prevent diseases and how we could use our food to be our drugstore. So we have decided that we are going to, using the colors of the rainbow, we are going to set our plates. So before us, or before you, is a table, and on that table is different food. And we are going to show you exactly what we did. Okay, with us this afternoon or this evening is Sister Walwyn Brazier and Sister Wade, and they're going to tell us what exactly they're doing in front here.
Okay, and we are going to just do a demonstration. The demonstration is simply letting you know what is a healthy breakfast you can have and a healthy lunch. Now, for breakfast, we make it very, very simple. We have a umpteen of local fruits, several local fruits: papaya, watermelon, pineapple, mango, avocado, sugar apple, cantaloupe, 5 fingers or carambola, and bananas. So we chose some of those to make a fruit salad that you could have for starting your breakfast. Now, you would have, previous to starting the breakfast, drank some water. This is at least, you have to drink water at least 15 to 30 minutes before you eat. So, okay, so we come back, we have the fruits, and the fruits are going to give you a whole variety of water, high water content fruits, and also vitamins and minerals, and a high source of energy. Very simple. Then next, we made some quinoa. If you are gluten sensitive, there are several grains that you can use. And we have quinoa as one of the grains. We have buckwheat as another grain. We have amaranth as a 3rd grain, and millet as the 4th grain. So today we used the quinoa. And with the quinoa, you can either have it plain with some seeds. This is ground up seeds. And
what kind of seed is it?
Okay, so in this ground up seeds, we have sunflower seeds, we have ground up some pumpkin seeds, this is some flaxseed, golden flaxseed, and also this is chia, excellent omega-3 fats you're getting from all these seeds. So we grind that up, and you could take about 2 tablespoons or more, and you put it on the quinoa. Then, in order to make the quinoa much more nutritious, We have also used some almond milk. Now, we made our own almond milk, primarily because when you make your own almond milk, it's much more nutritious. We simply took almonds, soaked it overnight, 1 cup of almond, 4 cups of water, and if you want a little sweetness, we added some organic raisins to it, strained it. You use what they call the okara for making patties. So strained it, and then we put a little bit onto and you can put it as you would like. You know, if you like a lot, you put a lot. If you want a little bit, you put a little bit. And the same way with cooking the grain. The grain is 2 parts water to 1 part grain. If you want it a little softer, you use more water. If you want it a little denser, then you use less water.
Mr. Wade, can I ask you a question? Could you use other sweeteners in the almond milk?
Oh, yes. Primarily, they usually use dates is the favored one to use in the almond milk. But we had some organic raisins.
Could we use honey?
We had no dates, so we used the...
Could we use honey?
Well, I am trying to have a breakfast that does excludes sugar, butter, eggs, any processed food at all. So there is no processed foods anywhere here. So that's why we don't use the honey. Honey is a processed food from the bees. Okay. Instead of using the milk, however, you could have used some lentils. This is just some lentils that were boiled simply. Boiled lentils. We cut up some onions and some garlic and some turmeric, etc. in the lentil, and you could have that on your grain. And that would give you about another 4 grams of protein. And this mixture of seeds gives you something like 8 grams of protein if you use a 1/4 cup. We could also add some walnuts, or we have pecans, we have Brazil nuts, we have almonds, and we have cashew nuts. All these are loaded with minerals, vitamins, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium. Then we also made some patties, and these are lentil patties. So we simply added some ground buckwheat flour, simply took the buckwheat, put it in a blender, blend it up, and added it to the lentils that we had there as a binder with a little bit of flaxseed and some salt and whatever other seasoning. We did not use any liquid aminos or any of that. We just natural seasoning and threw a little bit of chia seeds on top of it, and then you have that as part of your breakfast. This breakfast is nutrient-rich, dense breakfast. You need nothing else until 1 o'clock when you are eating this sumptuous lunch that our sister here has prepared. So when you're feeding your families, please ensure that you give them a variety of fruits, 2 or 3 different fruits. Children would probably just eat 2 different fruits. And grain, you can have oats, we can have rice, and barley, rye, all of those are other grains. We just stuck to the gluten-free grains for today. So there you go, breakfast. You don't have to eat it all. You just take some and make your plate and then enjoy. Thank the Lord. Because what he has done, he said in Genesis 1:29 that he has given us every tree in the garden and every seed-bearing fruit. To us it shall be for food. So, Brazier, I will turn over to you so that you can demonstrate what you have prepared for our lunch today.
What a wonderful demonstration, Sister Wade. And I can see that you have lots of fruit here. So I imagine for my 6-year-old grandchild, my 6-year-old grand or great-grand, we could maybe have part of that mango, portion of that mango, maybe half of the banana. And so they really wouldn't have to eat the whole thing or just a portion of that, of the quinoa. Yes, but it looks wonderful, and as you said, it's just so nutritious. What we're trying to do is just we're trying to get the colors of the rainbow in our meal for the day, because all of the different fruits and vegetables provide different nutrients. So if you ate tomatoes every day, even though tomatoes are good for you, you wouldn't be getting the vitamins that are in the carrots or in the beets or in the red cabbage or whatever. You have to get a variety of fruits and vegetables. So what we made for you for lunch today, we want you to get a whole grain. So we have brown rice. Made some brown rice. And we got some spinach, another vegetable. So we have spinach, rice, and all that was sauteing vegetables. We used some olive oil to saute the vegetables. As you heard the other ladies speak earlier in the presentation, you want to use the good fats. So olive oil is one that you can cook with. You don't want to heat it to very high heat to fry or anything, but adding it to just saute some onions and garlic and whatever you could just put in, and add your spinach, your chopped spinach. And this is fresh spinach, fresh picked today. But if you don't have that, you could also use the frozen spinach that you get in the supermarket. Sometimes we don't get exactly what we want when we want it, and so we have to go to second best. And the frozen spinach, it's frozen, just the plain spinach, just chopped and frozen, or just frozen, you could chop it. And just add it, and then add your rice, and you add your different herbs and spices, your thyme or whatever, to make it taste good. Then what we have here is a veggie burger, a veggie patty or veggie burger that we're going to use along with our spinach rice. And this, I understand, is made from vegetables and just, I think, whole breadcrumbs and different things to hold it together. And then it was baked in the oven in a muffin pan. So as you can see, it just comes out perfectly. And if you wanted to, you could just maybe just take the batter, and in a very small amount of oil, you can pan fry it, or you can even make it in the oven. So, and it would be a little bit flatter than this. So it's up to you. But let's look at our salad.
It looks wonderful. Wonderful.
Our rainbow salad.
Wow.
It didn't take long to make. And all of these vegetables you could have in your refrigerator, and they would last quite a few days, maybe a week.
in your garden. Your backyard garden.
Yes, and you keep them in your refrigerator. What I'm saying is, I didn't use the whole beet to make that, the whole beet that I had. I didn't use the whole red cabbage or white cabbage. I didn't even use the whole cucumber. I didn't use the whole avocado. I used a little bit of everything, and tomorrow, the next day, this is for the entire family. So tomorrow or the next day, we could have maybe a portion of these. We could just have different vegetables prepared a different way. But we get in the vegetables every day as much as we can, because that's what brings us life. All the vegetables, the vitamins, all that's needed, needed for life. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a plate, prepare a plate, and you also have to know how much to eat. It depends on your size, how active you are, your weight, how active you are. So if this is a child's plate, of course, I wouldn't want to pack the plate up with rice. I might use a portion like this for the child's plate. If it's an adult, maybe I might make 2 spoonfuls. And then for the vegetables, I would get a small amount of each, just to make the plate very colorful for the child. Yeah, we've been talking about child nutrition with Miss Hortense today for the dental care. So we just get everything in that and make it a nice colorful plate for the child. And then he'll be encouraged to eat. How could a child refuse this and say, I don't like this and I don't like that, with all the colorful things here? So, and then what you can do, keep everything from touching, Some children, people don't like their foods to touch. And then we could use some salad dressing. And the salad dressing, again, could be some olive oil, lemon juice, maybe you could mince some garlic, some salt, and just shake that together, and that makes a perfect salad dressing. If anybody has also you could look on the internet and look for some wonderful vegan dressings. Thank you so much, Sister Junie, Sister Powell. So here we have our sample meal. As I said, for a person, you eat depending on your size, your weight, if you're trying to lose weight. And that's one thing I noticed, that people use very large portions. They're eating and they pack their plate up. Like this might be enough for one person. They just like to eat. And then they're overfull. They can't relax. They can't rest properly because they're just uncomfortable. So you don't want to do that. You want to get the correct portions. And I mentioned the brown rice, and I can't emphasize that enough, or whole grains. Ms. Mignon talked about the whole grains. You want to use those as much as possible and avoid using the refined foods. Did I forget anything, Ms. Mignon?
No, I think we have indicated to them that we should all eat as God intended us to eat. And when we do that, we will minimize our risk of getting various types of diseases.
Illnesses, yes, yes, and that's what we're trying to do. In this whole presentation, the nutrition presentation, we're trying to have people eat healthy so that they do not end up with what we call the lifestyle diseases. Ms. Mignon has a favorite expression that we might have, some of us are genetically prone to certain diseases, like high blood pressure runs in my family, big time. And for some people it's diabetes or both. But even though it's running in your family, your mother, your grandmother had it, you might not have, you don't have to get it. It might be, what's the expression, Ms. Mignon? The one about the trigger, the gun?
Oh, yes. Genetics load
the gun.
The gun, and lifestyle pulls the trigger.
So we don't have to pull the trigger, right?
No.
We just have to live and eat carefully. Just plan for our meals. It might seem a little bit expensive to shop like this, but we're not getting mutton and all those other things in our meals. And those things are expensive, the mutton that we have to cook and the other meats. So you might pay a little bit more for the nuts, but then think of of the benefits, how healthy we would be, or we could be, by just eating some of these natural foods.
And we just have to emphasize that this is a plant-based diet. You get lots of protein. Every food has protein, a little bit of protein. And you get even more from the nuts and seeds, where you get a lot of fats, and also from the legumes.
The good fats from the nuts.
Fats. Mm-hmm. Right. And the avocado, lots of good fats. And also olives that we don't have, but you can get a little olive oil, lots of good fat as well. So
avocado makes a wonderful dressing as well. You could blend that with some lemon juice and some water, whatever, just to make, and some seasonings to make a wonderful salad dressing for this delicious salad here.
And nobody can complain, Sister Carol, that they can't find recipes. We have the University of YouTube. You go to the University of YouTube and you just put in vegetarian, vegan, whatever you want to put in.
They're all there.
And they're all there in all sorts of ethnic areas. So
in just this, at this table, we have 2 different vegetarian patties. Mm-hmm. This one, and they look different, and I'm sure they taste different, and I know they're both good. And then we have the lentils. We don't even have to have the patties. We can just have the lentils over the food direct. Or the red beans or whatever, stewed red beans, garbanzo beans. Yeah. Sometimes when I make this salad, I put garbanzo beans or red beans in it, and it's a complete meal.
And don't forget the fruits. All of these are local fruits. So emphasize local fruits, and then you may go and get a few berries if you wash them off properly, because berries are very high antioxidant fruits. But they're only high antioxidants because a lot of research have been done about berries. All foods are plant-based foods have high levels of antioxidants in them. Some have been researched more than others. So ours here, this pineapple is sweet, delicious. And you know, this is the season for fruits.
And sugar apples, wow.
Yeah, this is, yes, you know,
yes.
It is. So, Miss Carol, I think we have completed our session for this afternoon.
Yes.
And we thank you, the listening audience, that we have imparted something of knowledge to you, information that you can go and use. And we would want you, indeed, to take this back and apply it. Action, just knowledge without action doesn't do much. So information, knowledge, please to go and apply it. And you must find it makes a difference in your health.
Thank you, Ms. Mignon.